Maya Collins stared at her phone screen, reading her sister's text message for the third time. Lisa was sick with the flu and needed Maya to fill in as a nanny for one day. Maya had planned to spend her Saturday grading papers and watching movies. But Lisa sounded really sick in her voice message. Just one day, Maya said to herself as she grabbed her car keys. How hard can it be? The address Lisa had given her led to a neighborhood Maya had never seen before. The houses were huge, with long driveways and perfect lawns. She drove slowly, looking for the right number. When she found it, she stopped her car and stared. The house was enormous. It looked like something from a magazine, with tall windows and a circular driveway. Maya checked the address again. This was definitely the right place. She walked up to the front door and rang the bell. The door opened almost immediately, revealing a man who looked like he had just stepped out of a business meeting. He was tall, with dark hair and serious eyes. He wore an expensive-looking shirt and pants that probably cost more than Maya made in a month. You must be Maya, he said, extending his hand. I'm Jake Morrison. Thank you for coming on such short notice. Maya shook his hand, noticing how firm his grip was. No problem. Lisa said you needed help with your daughter today. Yes. Sophie is 8 years old. She's a good kid, but she can be a bit. Jake paused, as if searching for the right word. Unusual. Before Maya could ask what he meant, a small girl appeared beside Jake. She had blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail and bright blue eyes that seemed to see everything. She was holding what looked like a tablet computer. Hi, Sophie said, looking up at Maya. Are you the substitute nanny? Maya smiled. I guess I am. I'm Maya, your regular nanny sister. Sophie nodded seriously. Lisa told me you're a teacher. That's good. I like teachers. They know things. Jake looked at his watch. I have to go to a meeting. Sophie, please be good for Maya. I'll be back by dinner time. He kissed Sophie on the forehead and grabbed a briefcase from a table near the door. As he headed toward the garage, Maya noticed he was carrying 3 different phones. Why does your dad have so many phones? Maya asked Sophie. Sophie shrugged. He has a lot of jobs. Sometimes people from far away need to talk to him. Really far away. Maya wondered. What kind of business required 3 phones? But she didn't ask. Rich people probably had different problems than regular people. Sophie led Maya into the house, and Maya tried not to stare at everything. The living room had a ceiling that went up 2 floors, and there were paintings on the walls that looked like they belonged in a museum. But what caught Maya's attention were the bookshelves. They were filled with books, but not the kind she expected to see in a family home. There were thick books about physics and astronomy, books about different languages, and books with titles Maya couldn't even pronounce. Mixed in with them were normal children's books and novels. Do you like to read? Maya asked Sophie. Yes, but Daddy's books are more interesting than mine, Sophie said. He has books about space and other worlds. Sometimes he reads them to me before bed. Maya picked up one of the books. It was about quantum physics, definitely not bedtime story material. She put it back and followed Sophie to the kitchen. Are you hungry? Maya asked. I could make you lunch. I already ate, Sophie said, but I want to show you something. She led Maya to a room that looked like it was set up for a much older child. There was a desk with a computer that had multiple screens, and the walls were covered with pictures of planets and stars. But what made Maya stop and stare was the model. In the center of the room, Sophie had built a perfect model of the solar system. But it wasn't just the sun and the main planets. There were tiny moons around each planet, positioned exactly where they should be. Maya counted them carefully. Sophie, how did you know where to put all these moons? Maya asked. Daddy taught. M.E., Sophie said simply. He knows a lot about space. Maya looked closer at the model. She recognized most of the moons around Jupiter and Saturn, but there were some she had never heard of. And Sophie had them positioned perfectly. These moons around Jupiter, Maya said, pointing to some of the smaller ones. I don't think these are in any of the books I know. Sophie looked at the model and nodded. Those are the new ones. Scientists just found them last month. Daddy told me about them. Maya felt a strange chill. She taught middle school science, and she tried to keep up with new discoveries. But she hadn't heard about any new moons being discovered around Jupiter recently. How does your daddy know about new moons before they're announced? Maya asked carefully. Sophie tilted her head, looking confused. He just knows things. Sometimes he has to go to space meetings. He says it's important to keep track of everything out there. Space meetings? You know, meetings about space stuff. He talks to people on his computers about things happening far away. Sometimes the meetings are in the middle of the night because the people live on the other side of the world. Maya nodded, but she felt more confused than before. What kind of businessman had meetings about space in the middle of the night? Sophie went to her desk and pulled out a drawing tablet. Want to see the pictures I drew yesterday? Maya sat down next to Sophie and looked at the screen. Sophie scrolled through several drawings, and Maya's confusion grew. The drawings were detailed and strange. There were pictures of creatures that looked like nothing Maya had ever seen, with too many arms and eyes in weird places. There were drawings of ships that didn't look like any airplane or boat Maya knew. These are very creative, Maya said. Did you make up these creatures? Sophie shook her head. Daddy showed me pictures of them. He says they live far away, but sometimes they come visit. He has to make sure they're nice visitors and not mean ones. Maya stared at the drawing on the screen. It showed a creature with purple skin and 4 arms, wearing what looked like a uniform. The detail was incredible for an 8-year-old's drawing. Sophie, what does your daddy do for work? He keeps bad things away from Earth, Sophie said, as if this was the most normal thing in the world. He says humans are special, and some other people don't like that, so he has to protect us. Maya felt her heart beating faster. Either Sophie had an amazing imagination, or something very strange was going on in this house. She looked around the room again, noticing things she had missed before. The computer had symbols on the screen that didn't look like any language she knew. There were charts on the walls that looked like star maps, but they were more detailed than anything she had seen in textbooks. Sophie, Maya said carefully, has your daddy ever told you not to talk about his work with other people? Sophie nodded. He says most people wouldn't understand, but you're smart. You're a teacher. And Lisa said you're good at keeping secrets. Maya wondered what secrets Lisa thought she was good at keeping. She had never told Lisa anything particularly secret. Sophie's tablet made a beeping sound, and she looked at the screen. Daddy's meeting is starting soon. He always calls to check on me during breaks. As if on cue, one of the phones in the kitchen started ringing. Sophie ran to answer it. Hi, Daddy, she said. Maya is nice. She likes my solar system model. Maya could hear Jake's voice on the other end, but she couldn't make out the words. Okay, Daddy, I'll be good. Yes, I'll show her the safe room if the alarms go off. Maya's blood ran cold. Safe room? She asked when Sophie hung up. Oh, we have a special room downstairs in case of emergencies. Daddy says every house should have one. It has food and games and everything. Maya looked out the window at the perfectly normal neighborhood. What kind of emergencies was Jake Morrison expecting? Maya woke up to her phone buzzing at 7 in the morning. Lisa's voice sounded even worse than the day before. Maya, I'm so sorry, Lisa said between coughs. I can't even get out of bed. Could you please help with Sophie again today? Jake said. He'd pay you double. Maya rubbed her eyes and looked at the clock. She had stayed awake half the night thinking about everything Sophie had said. Part of her wanted to say no, but another part of her was curious. What was really going on in that house? Okay, Maya said. I'll be there in an hour. When she arrived at the Morrison house, Jake was already dressed in another expensive suit. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept much either. Thank you again, he said, opening the door. I know this is asking a lot. It's fine, Maya said. Sophie is a sweet kid. Jake picked up his briefcase and checked his phones. Two of them were already buzzing with messages. I might be later tonight, he said. There's a situation at work that needs my attention. Sophie knows where everything is, and there's money on the kitchen counter for food. As Jake headed toward his car, Maya noticed something she had missed the day before. There were small cameras mounted near the front door, and they looked much more advanced than normal security cameras. The lenses were larger, and they seemed to move slightly, like they were tracking movement. Sophie appeared in the hallway, already dressed and holding her tablet. Did Daddy leave already? She asked. Just now, Maya said. What would you like to do today? Can we go to the basement? Sophie asked. I want to show you Daddy's workshop. Maya felt her curiosity spike. Your dad has a workshop in the basement? Sophie nodded and led Maya through the house. They passed the kitchen and went down a hallway Maya hadn't explored the day before. At the end of the hall was a door that looked different from the others. It was made of metal and had a small panel next to it with numbers. Sophie pressed her thumb against the panel, and Maya heard a soft beep. The door opened with a quiet hiss. How does that work? Maya asked. It reads my fingerprint, Sophie said. Daddy says it's safer than keys because you can't lose your fingers. They walked down a set of stairs, and Maya was amazed by what she saw. The basement was huge, much larger than the house above would suggest. It was filled with equipment Maya had never seen before. There were multiple computer screens showing what looked like maps of space and machines that hummed quietly in the corners. What does your dad do down here? Maya asked. He talks to people and fixes things, Sophie said. Sometimes he builds new things too. Want to see the communication room? Sophie led Maya to another section of the basement. This room had a huge screen on one wall and several chairs facing it. The screen was showing what looked like a live view of space, with stars and planets slowly moving across it. Is this real? Maya asked, staring at the screen. Yes, Sophie said. Daddy can see what's happening in space from here. Sometimes people call him on this screen instead of his phones. As if she had magic powers, the screen suddenly lit up with an incoming call. Sophie quickly pressed a button on one of the chairs. Daddy's not here right now, she said to the screen. A woman's voice came through speakers Maya couldn't see. Hello, Sophie. This is Dr. Elena Rodriguez. Is everything okay there? Yes, Maya is taking care of me. She's Lisa's sister. Good. Can you tell your father that the readings from Sector 7 are normal today? The situation we discussed yesterday is under control. I'll tell him, Sophie said. Are the bad ships still far away? Maya felt her heart start beating faster. Bad ships? Yes, they're staying in their own area for now, Dr. Rodriguez said. Your father's plan is working perfectly. The call ended, and Sophie turned to Maya with a smile. Dr. Rodriguez is nice. She works with Daddy. Sophie, Maya said carefully, what are the bad ships? Sophie sat down in one of the chairs and spun around once. Some people from other planets don't like humans very much. They think we're too different or too dangerous. So sometimes they send ships to watch us or try to cause trouble. Maya felt dizzy. Other planets? You know, like Mars and Jupiter, but farther away. Places where other kinds of people live. Sophie said this, like she was explaining that some people live in different countries. Maya sat down in another chair, trying to process what she was hearing. And your dad stops them? He helps stop them. There are lots of people who help. They work together to keep Earth safe. Sophie pulled out her tablet and showed Maya another drawing. This one showed what looked like spaceships, but they were sleek and beautiful, not like the scary creatures from the day before. These are the good ships, Sophie explained. Some of the people from other planets are nice and want to be friends. Daddy talks to them sometimes too. The tablet made a beeping sound, and Sophie looked at the screen. Her face became serious. Maya, we need to go upstairs now, she said, standing up quickly. Why? What's wrong? The house alarm is going to go off in a few minutes. Daddy is coming home early. They hurried upstairs, and Sophie led Maya to the kitchen. Sure enough, Maya could hear a car pulling into the driveway much faster than normal. Jake came through the front door looking stressed. He was carrying all three of his phones, and they were all buzzing or ringing. "Sophie, did anyone call the house today?" he asked quickly. Dr. Rodriguez called the basement. She said Sector 7 is normal, and the bad ships are staying away. Jake looked relieved. "Good. Maya, I'm sorry about this." There was an emergency at work. Maya looked at Jake carefully. His expensive suit was wrinkled, and he looked like he had been running. "What kind of work do you do exactly?" Jake froze for a moment, then looked at Sophie. "What did you show Maya today?" "The basement and the communication room. And I told her about the ships." Jake closed his eyes and took a deep breath. "Sophie, remember what we talked about? About being careful what we tell people? But Maya is smart, and she's Lisa's sister. Lisa said she could be trusted." Maya felt something cold in her stomach. "Lisa said I could be trusted with what?" Jake looked at Maya for a long moment, like he was trying to decide something important. "Maya, I think we need to talk," he said finally. "But first, I need to ask you something. Have you noticed anything unusual about your sister Lisa lately?" Maya thought about it. She's been traveling more for work, and she seems to know things about current events before they're on the news. But I thought she was just good at her job. Jake nodded slowly. "What did Lisa tell you about this job? About taking care of Sophie? Just that you were a single dad who needed help with childcare. She said you were in business and traveled sometimes. She didn't mention anything about the kind of business." Maya shook her head, but she was starting to feel like there was something important she was missing. Jake's phone rang, and he answered it quickly. Maya could hear him speaking in a language she didn't recognize. When he hung up, he looked even more serious. "Maya, I need to ask you to do something, and I need you to trust me. Can you stay here tonight? There might be some unusual activity in the area, and I'd feel better if Sophie wasn't alone." "Unusual activity?" Sophie tugged on Maya's shirt. "Sometimes the bad ships try to land near our house because they know Daddy lives here, but the good people always stop them." Maya looked back and forth between Jake and Sophie. Everything she thought she knew about the world was starting to feel wrong. "Jake," she said slowly, "I think you need to tell me what's really going on." Jake checked his phones again, then looked out the window at the sky. "Maya, what I'm about to tell you is going to sound impossible. But I need you to listen carefully, because the safety of a lot of people depends on keeping this secret." Maya nodded, even though she wasn't sure she was ready for whatever Jake was about to say. "The truth is," Jake said, "Earth is not alone in the universe. And some of our neighbors are not very friendly." Maya stared at Jake, trying to understand what he had just said. "What do you mean, Earth is not alone?" Jake looked at Sophie, who was sitting quietly at the kitchen table. "Sophie, why don't you go play in your room for a few minutes? I need to talk to Maya about grown-up things. Can I take my tablet?" Sophie asked. "Of course, but stay upstairs, okay?" After Sophie left, Jake sat down across from Maya. He looked tired and worried. "Maya, for the past 10 years, I've been part of a secret organization. We call it the Human Defense Collective. Our job is to protect Earth from alien species that want to hurt us." Maya felt like the room was spinning. "Alien species? Like from outer space?" "Yes, there are dozens of different species in our part of the galaxy. Most of them have been watching Earth for hundreds of years. Some of them are friendly and want to help us. Others see humans as a threat that needs to be stopped." Maya shook her head. "This is crazy. If aliens were real, wouldn't everyone know about it? Think about it," Jake said. "What would happen if everyone on Earth suddenly found out that hostile aliens were watching us? There would be panic, wars. The whole world would fall apart." Jake's phone buzzed, and he glanced at it quickly. "Maya, I know this sounds impossible, but I'm about to show you something that will prove I'm telling the truth. He led her to the living room window and pointed up at the sky. Look up there, near that bright star. Maya looked where he was pointing. At first, she didn't see anything unusual. Then she noticed something that made her breath catch. There was a small point of light that was moving. It was too fast to be an airplane and too slow to be a shooting star. What is that? She whispered. That's a Zephyrian scout ship. They've been circling Earth for the past 3 days, trying to decide if they want to attack us or not. As Maya watched, the light suddenly got much brighter. Then it split into 3 separate lights, each moving in a different direction. They're leaving, Jake said, checking his phone. Good. That means our negotiation team was successful. Maya felt weak in the knees. There are people up there? Talking to aliens? Not just people. Humans. Maya, here's the thing that most people don't understand about humans. We're special. We're different from every other species in the galaxy. Jake's phone rang, and he answered it quickly. Morrison here. Yes, I see them leaving. Good work, General Hayes. I'll be at headquarters in an hour. He hung up and looked at Maya. I have to go to a meeting, but first I need to explain something important. Maya, your sister Lisa works for us. Maya felt like she had been punched in the stomach. What? Lisa has been part of the Human Defense Collective for 2 years. She's not really a nanny. She's an intelligence analyst. Her job was to watch Sophie and make sure our enemies didn't try to use her to get to me. But she's sick. She has the flu. Jake shook his head. Lisa's on a mission in Colorado. She's helping our team negotiate with a group of aliens who want to set up a trading post on Earth. We told you she was sick because we needed to see if you could be trusted with the truth. Maya sat down hard in one of the expensive chairs. You've been testing me? Maya, we don't just tell people about this. We have to be very careful about who we trust. But Lisa told us that you were smart and good at keeping secrets. And after watching you with Sophie for 2 days, I think she was right. Before Maya could respond, Jake's phone rang again. This time, when he answered it, his face went white. What? How many ships? Are you sure? He listened for a moment, then said, I'll be right there. Activate all defense systems. He hung up and looked at Maya with serious eyes. Maya, I need you to take Sophie to the safe room in the basement, now. What's happening? A group of hostile aliens just entered Earth's atmosphere. They're not here to talk. Jake ran to a closet and pulled out what looked like a military uniform. Maya, listen to me carefully. Go get Sophie and take her to the basement. There's a door marked with a red X. Sophie knows the code. Lock yourselves inside and don't come out until I come back. Where are you going? To do my job. Jake was changing clothes quickly. Maya, I need you to promise me something. No matter what happens, keep Sophie safe. She's more important than you realize. Maya felt panic rising in her chest. Jake, I don't understand any of this. Jake finished putting on his uniform and grabbed a bag from the closet. I know, but I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Maya nodded, even though she felt terrified. Good. Sophie will explain everything else. She knows more than most adults about what we do. Jake headed toward the door, then stopped and turned back. Maya, humans are the only species in the galaxy that can adapt and change the way we do. Other species are either all connected like a hive or they're completely separate and can't work together. But humans can be individuals and still work as a team. That's what makes us special. That's what makes us dangerous to our enemies. With that, he was gone, leaving Maya alone in the huge house. Maya ran upstairs and found Sophie in her room, calmly packing a small bag. Sophie, your dad said we need to go to the safe room. Sophie nodded. I know. I can hear the ships coming. Maya looked out the window but couldn't see anything. You can hear them? Daddy taught me how to listen for the sound their engines make. They're still far away, but they're getting closer. Sophie led Maya back to the basement, but this time they went to a different section. There was a door with a red X painted on it, just like Jake had said. Sophie pressed her hand against the panel, and the door opened. Inside was a room that looked like a small apartment. There were beds, a kitchen area, and walls covered with computer screens. "How long do we have to stay here?" Maya asked. Sophie sat down at one of the computers and pressed some buttons. The screens lit up, showing views of the sky from different angles. "Until Daddy and his team stop the bad aliens," Sophie said. "Sometimes it takes a few hours. Sometimes it takes longer." Maya watched the screens, and her heart nearly stopped. She could see lights in the sky, moving in formation toward Earth. There were at least 20 of them. "Sophie, are those the alien ships?" "Yes, but don't worry. Daddy and his friends have stopped bigger groups before." One of the screens showed a different view, and Maya gasped. She could see human ships rising up from Earth to meet the alien ones. The human ships looked sleek and fast, nothing like any airplane she had ever seen. "Where did those come from?" Maya asked. "Daddy and his team built them. They took alien technology and made it better. Humans are really good at taking things and making them work better." Maya watched as the human ships met the alien ones in the sky. There were flashes of light, like a fireworks show, but she knew this was a real battle. "Sophie, how many people know about this?" "Not very many. Maybe a few thousand around the world. But Daddy says someday, when humans are ready, everyone will know the truth." Maya sat down next to Sophie and watched the battle on the screens. She thought about her normal life, teaching middle school science and grading papers. Everything seemed so simple just 2 days ago. "Sophie, what's going to happen to me now that I know?" Sophie looked at her with those serious blue eyes. "Daddy will probably ask if you want to help. We always need more people, especially teachers." "Teachers?" "Teachers are really important for protecting Earth. They help train the next generation of humans to be ready for anything." Maya watched as the lights in the sky began to fade. The alien ships were retreating, and the human ships were following them to make sure they left Earth's space. "Sophie, your dad said you were more important than I realized." "What did he mean?" Sophie smiled for the first time since the battle started. "I'm going to be a leader someday, like Daddy. But first, I have to learn everything I can about how to protect humans and make friends with the good aliens." Maya looked at this 8-year-old girl who talked about space battles like other kids talked about video games. "Are you scared?" Maya asked. Sophie shook her head. "Daddy says humans don't give up, ever. And as long as we stick together and keep learning, we'll always find a way to win." Maya realized that her life had just changed forever. But looking at Sophie's confident smile, she thought maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. Maya and Sophie stayed in the safe room for 3 hours. During that time, Sophie showed Maya things that made her understand just how different humans really were. "Look at this," Sophie said, pointing to one of the computer screens. It showed 2 pilots sitting in what looked like the cockpit of one of the human ships Maya had seen earlier. The pilots were talking to each other, but Maya noticed something strange. Even though they were speaking English, they seemed to know what the other was thinking before they said it. "How are they doing that?" Maya asked. "They're connected," Sophie explained. "Not like robots or anything. They're still themselves, but they can feel what the other person is feeling. It makes them work better together." Maya watched as the 2 pilots worked as a perfect team, moving their ship through space like they were dancing. "I don't understand. How can they be connected but still be individuals?" Sophie pulled up another screen that showed what looked like a classroom. There were adults sitting in chairs with strange helmets on their heads. "This is where Daddy's TEAM trains new pilots," Sophie said. "The helmets help humans learn how to share their thoughts and feelings with other humans, but they don't lose who they are. They just become part of a team." Maya had never seen anything like it. "What makes humans able to do this when other aliens can't?" "Dr. Rodriguez explained it to me once," Sophie said. Most alien species are either like ants in a hive, where everyone thinks the same thoughts, or they're completely alone and can't work together at all. But humans can choose when to connect and when to be alone. One of the screens showed Jake walking into what looked like a command center. He was talking to a woman in a military uniform. "That's General Patricia Hayes," Sophie said. "She's Daddy's boss. She's really smart." Maya could see Jake and the general looking at large screens that showed maps of space. Other people in uniforms were working at computers and talking into headsets. "Sophie, how many people work for your Dad's organization? Around the world? Maybe 5,000. But there are lots of other people who help without knowing the whole truth, like police officers and scientists and teachers." Maya thought about this. Teachers? Yes. Teachers are super important. They help kids learn how to think in new ways and work together. Some teachers don't know they're helping prepare kids for this, but they are. Sophie touched the screen and it changed to show a different view. This one showed children in a regular-looking classroom, but Maya noticed the teacher was doing something unusual. Instead of just lecturing, she was having the kids work in groups where they had to solve problems by sharing ideas. "That's Mrs. Emma Davis," Sophie said. "She teaches at the elementary school near here. She knows about Daddy's work. She's teaching kids how to cooperate and think creatively without telling them why it's important." Maya felt a chill. How many teachers are part of this? Not many? Maybe a few hundred around the world. But Daddy says they're some of the most important people in the whole organization. The screen switched back to Jake and General Hayes. Maya could see them talking seriously. And Jake was pointing at something on one of the star maps. Suddenly, Sophie's face lit up. "Oh, Daddy's coming back. The bad aliens are gone." "How do you know?" Sophie pointed to a small screen in the corner. It showed Jake walking toward his car in what looked like an underground garage. "He's leaving headquarters. He'll be here in 20 minutes. While they waited, Sophie showed Maya more screens. There was one that showed human ships patrolling the edges of the solar system, and another that showed what looked like a space station hidden behind one of Jupiter's moons. "We built that," Sophie said proudly. "It took 3 years, but human engineers figured out how to make it work better than the alien designs." "How do humans get alien designs?" "Some of the friendly aliens shared their technology with us. But Daddy's team made it better. Humans are really good at taking something that works and making it work even better." Maya was starting to understand. "So humans aren't just defending Earth. You're improving alien technology?" "Exactly. And that's what scares the bad aliens. They've been building the same ships and using the same weapons for thousands of years. But humans change things every few months. We get better so fast that it makes them worried." The door to the safe room opened, and Jake walked in. He looked tired but happy. "Everything okay in here?" he asked, giving Sophie a hug. "Maya saw the battle," Sophie said, "and I showed her about the pilots and the training center." Jake looked at Maya carefully. "What did you think?" Maya wasn't sure how to answer. It's amazing and terrifying at the same time. "Jake, why are humans so different from other aliens?" Jake sat down next to them. "We think it has to do with how humans developed on Earth. Most alien species evolved on planets where everything was the same. Same weather, same dangers, same food. But Earth has everything. Deserts, forests, oceans, mountains, ice caps. Humans had to learn how to survive in every possible situation. So we became good at adapting," Maya said. "More than that, we became good at working together while still being individuals. A human can be part of a team, but they can also think for themselves and come up with new ideas. That combination doesn't exist anywhere else in the galaxy." Jake pulled up another screen that showed what looked like a meeting room. There were humans sitting at a table with creatures that definitely weren't human. Some had blue skin, others had extra arms, and one looked like it was made of living crystal. "This is a meeting from last week," Jake said. These are representatives from 7 different alien species. All of them are friendly, and they all want to learn from humans. Maya stared at the screen. They want to learn from us? Yes, they've been watching humans for decades, and they're amazed by how fast we develop new ideas. Some of these species haven't had a new invention in 1,000 years. But humans invent new things every day. Sophie pointed to one of the aliens. On the screen, that's Ambassador Kreese Johnson. She's human, but she lives on an alien planet now. She teaches them about human culture. Maya looked closer and realized Sophie was right. One of the figures at the table was definitely human, but she was wearing clothes that looked like they came from another world. How many humans are living with aliens? Maya asked. About 50, Jake said. There are ambassadors. They live on alien planets and help build friendships between humans and other species. Jake stood up and checked his phone. Maya, I need to ask you something important. After everything you've seen today, what do you want to do? Maya thought about her normal life. Teaching middle school, grading papers, worrying about lesson plans. Then she thought about what she had seen today. Humans working together to protect Earth, improving alien technology, and building friendships across the galaxy. What are my options? She asked. You can go back to your normal life, Jake said. We'll help you forget everything you've seen. You'll remember that you babysat Sophie for 2 days, and Lisa will get better from her flu. Everything will go back to the way it was. Maya felt a knot in her stomach. Or you can join us. We need people with your skills. Teachers who understand how to help humans learn and work together. You'll be trained to do things you never imagined possible. Sophie grabbed Maya's hand. I hope you stay. You're really good at understanding things. Maya looked at Jake, then at Sophie, then at the screen showing humans and aliens working together in space. She thought about her students back at school and how she could help them prepare for a future they didn't even know was coming. If I stay, what exactly would I do? Jake smiled. You'd help us train the next generation of humans. Kids who will grow up knowing about our alien neighbors, who will be ready to explore the galaxy and build bridges between species. You teach kids how to be humans, Sophie added. The best kind of humans. Maya realized she had never felt more excited about anything in her life. The thought of helping prepare children for a future among the stars made her heart race. I want to help, she said. I want to be part of this. Jake's smile got bigger. Welcome to the Human Defense Collective, Maya. Your real job starts tomorrow. 3 weeks later, Maya stood in a room she never could have imagined existed. The training center was hidden beneath a normal-looking office building in downtown Chicago. Around her, 20 of the new recruits sat in chairs that looked like they belonged in a science fiction movie. Remember, said Dr. Elena Rodriguez, who Maya now knew was one of the top scientists in the Human Defense Collective, the connection training doesn't change who you are. It just helps you share your thoughts and feelings with your teammates. When you need to. Maya put on the strange helmet that would help her learn to connect with other humans. At first, she felt nothing different. Then slowly, she began to sense something new. The woman sitting next to her was named Carmen Lopez, a former police officer from Miami. Maya could suddenly feel Carmen's nervousness about the training, but also her excitement about learning. Something new. This is incredible, Maya whispered. You're doing great, Carmen whispered back. I can feel that you're a teacher. You have this calm way of thinking about problems. On Maya's other side sat Ben Thompson, a computer programmer from Seattle. Through the connection, Maya could sense his mind working like a super-fast calculator, figuring out how the helmet technology worked. The interesting thing, Dr. Rodriguez said, is that each person brings their own skills to the group. Maya, your teaching background helps the whole team learn faster. Carmen, your police training helps everyone stay alert for danger. Ben, your programming skills help the group solve technical problems. Maya was amazed. She could feel herself becoming smarter just by being connected to the other people in the room. But at the same time, she was still completely herself. After the training session, Maya walked through the underground facility with Jake. Over the past 3 weeks, she had learned that the Human Defense Collective was much bigger than she had. Imagine, how many facilities like this are there? She asked. 47 around the world, Jake said. Each one specializes in different types of training. This one focuses on communication and teamwork. There's another one in Japan that trains pilots, and one in Germany that develops new technology. They stopped at a large window that looked into another room. Inside, Maya could see children playing what looked like normal games. But she was learning that nothing in this organization was quite normal. Those kids are part of our education program, Jake explained. Their parents all work for the collective. We're teaching them about working together and solving problems, but we're doing it through play. Maya watched a group of 8-year-olds working together to build something out of blocks. But their creation was more complex than anything Maya had seen children build before. It looked like a model of a space station. They don't know they're being trained, do they? Maya asked. Not exactly. They know their parents have important jobs keeping people safe, but they won't learn the full truth until they're older. A woman approached them, smiling warmly. You must be Maya, she said. I'm Mrs. Emma Davis. I teach at Sophie's school. Maya recognized the name. Sophie mentioned you. You're part of the secret education program. Emma nodded. I've been working with the collective for 5 years. My job is to help children develop the skills they'll need when they're old enough to join us, without making them worry about alien invasions. How do you do that? I focus on creativity, teamwork, and problem solving. I teach them that working together makes everyone stronger. I also make sure they're curious about space and science. Maya thought about her own students back at her regular school. Do any of the kids you teach know what you're really preparing them for? Emma shook her head. Very few. Only children like Sophie, whose parents are already high-ranking members of the collective. For most kids, I'm just a teacher who likes group projects and space documentaries. Jake's phone buzzed, and he looked at it quickly. Maya, there's something I need to show you. We just received a message from one of our deep space monitoring stations. They walked to another room filled with large screens. General Patricia Hayes was there, along with several other people Maya had learned were important leaders in the organization. What's the situation? Jake asked. We're getting signals from a species we've never encountered before, General Hayes said. They're sending what appears to be a greeting message, but we can't understand their language. Maya looked at the screen, which showed a series of symbols and sounds that definitely weren't from Earth. How do we usually handle first contact with new species? Maya asked, very carefully. General Hayes said. Some species are friendly, some are hostile, and some just want to be left alone. The key is figuring out which type we're dealing with. A man Maya didn't recognize stepped forward. I'm Ambassador Kreese Johnson, he said. I specialize in first contact situations. Maya realized this was one of the humans who live with aliens that Sophie had told her about. What's your recommendation? We need to decode their language first, Ambassador Johnson said. But here's where humans have an advantage. Most alien species think in very logical, structured ways. Humans think more creatively. We're often better at understanding new languages because we're good at finding patterns that others miss. Dr. Rodriguez pulled up another screen. I've been analyzing their message for the past hour. The mathematical parts are easy to understand. But there are sections that don't follow any logical pattern I know. Maya studied the symbols on the screen. As a teacher, she was used to looking at students' work and trying to figure out what they were thinking. Something about the alien message reminded her of drawings her younger students made. Can I try something? Maya asked. General Hayes looked surprised. You want to try decoding an alien language? Maybe. I'm used to figuring out what children are trying to communicate when they can't express themselves clearly yet. Maya sat down at one of the computers and looked at the message more carefully. The mathematical parts were clear, showing basic numbers and simple equations. But between the math, there were symbols that seemed random. Then Maya noticed something. The random symbols appeared in groups of 3, and each group was slightly different from the others. I think these might be emotions, Maya said. Emotions? Dr. Rodriguez asked. Look at the pattern. Each group of 3 symbols comes after a mathematical statement. What if they're telling us how they feel about each piece of information they're sharing? Ambassador Johnson leaned forward, interested. That would be very unusual. Most species separate facts from feelings completely. Maya pointed to different parts of the message. This group of symbols comes after they tell us their planet's location. Maybe they're saying they're proud of where they live. This group comes after they show us their population size. Maybe they're saying they're worried about something. Dr. Rodriguez started typing quickly. If Maya is right, this species combines logical information with emotional context. That's very human-like. General Hayes looked thoughtful. What does that tell us about their intentions? Species that include emotions in their communication are usually more cooperative, Ambassador Johnson said. They understand that feelings matter, not just facts. Maya continued studying the message. There's something else. Look at this section here. They're not just telling us about themselves. They're asking questions about us. What kind of questions? Jake asked Maya Trace. The symbols with her finger. I think they want to know if humans work together or fight with each other. And they're asking about our children. Our children? General Hayes asked sharply. They seem very interested in how we raise our young and prepare them for the future. That's actually kind of sweet. Dr. Rodriguez was running Maya's theories. Through the computer, her interpretation makes sense. If this species cares about emotional context and child rearing, they're probably peaceful. Ambassador Johnson nodded. I recommend we respond positively. Maya, would you like to help compose our reply? Maya felt her heart racing. You want me to help write humanity's first message to a new alien species? You understood their message better than our top linguists, General Hayes said. I think your perspective would be valuable. Maya looked around the room at all these important people who were trusting her with something incredible. 3 weeks ago, she had been a middle school teacher worried about lesson plans. Now, she was helping humanity make contact with aliens. I'd be honored to help, she said. As Maya began working on the response message, she realized something important. Her skills as a teacher, understanding how to communicate with minds that work differently than her own, being patient with confusion, and caring about the emotional side of learning were exactly what humanity needed for building relationships with alien species. Jake, she said quietly, I think I'm starting to understand why teachers are so important to the collective. Jake smiled. We don't just need soldiers and scientists to protect Earth. We need people who understand how to build bridges between different kinds of minds. People who care about helping others grow and learn. Maya looked back at the alien message on the screen. For the first time since this whole adventure began, she felt like she was exactly where she belonged. 6 months later, Maya stood in the observation deck of humanity's newest space station, watching something she never could have imagined. Through the large windows, she could see Earth hanging in the darkness like a blue and white jewel. But what made her smile was what was happening in the space around Earth. Human ships were flying alongside alien vessels in perfect formation. The ships didn't all look the same. Some were sleek and silver like the human designs. Others were crystalline, like the ships from the Zilari species. And some looked like living creatures from the organic technology of the Thornax people. It's beautiful, isn't it? Jake said, walking up beside her. Maya looked at the man who had become both her partner in work and in life. Over the past 6 months, their relationship had grown from professional to personal. But more importantly, they had become a team in ways Maya was still learning to understand. I never thought I'd see humans and aliens working together like this, Maya said. Neither did I. When this all started 10 years ago, Jake admitted. Back then, We were just trying to keep hostile species away from Earth. Now we're building something completely new." Through their connection training, Maya could feel Jake's emotions as clearly as her own. He was proud of what humanity had accomplished, but also nervous about the challenges ahead. "The test flight is starting," Sophie called from across the observation deck. Maya turned to look at Sophie, who was now 9 years old and somehow even more remarkable than before. Sophie was working at a computer station that would have been impossible for most adults to understand, but she operated it like it was a simple video game. On the main screen, Maya watched as a new type of ship prepared for its first journey. This ship was different from anything that had ever been built before. It was designed by humans, but it used technology from 6 different alien species, all working together. "The Harmony is ready for departure," came a voice over the communication system. Maya knew the pilot of the Harmony. Her name was Commander Lisa Torres, and she was one of the humans who had learned to connect not just with other humans, but with friendly alien minds as well. "This is incredible," Maya whispered as she watched the ship begin to move. The Harmony wasn't just being piloted by Commander Torres. Through the connection technology that humans had perfected, she was linked with a Zilari navigator, a Thornax engineer, and 2 other human crew members. 5 different minds from 3 different species working as one team while still being individuals. "Maya, show Dr. Chun the education reports," Jake said. Maya pulled up her tablet and opened the file she had been working on for months. Dr. Alex Chun, the station's chief scientist, looked over her shoulder as Maya explained her work. "We've established learning programs on 12 different worlds now," Maya said. "Human children are learning alongside alien children, and alien children are learning from human teachers." Dr. Chun studied the data. The results are remarkable. The alien children in the human-taught classes are developing creativity and problem-solving, skills their species has never seen before. "And the human children?" Dr. Chun asked. "They're learning to think in ways that are completely new," Maya said. "When a human child works with a Zilari child, they learn to consider problems from multiple angles at the same time. When they work with Thornax children, they learn to think about how their decisions affect the whole group." Sophie looked up from her computer. "Maya, the new students from Kepler Station are ready for their virtual classroom session." Maya smiled and walked over to another set of screens. On them, she could see children from 3 different species sitting in classrooms on different planets, all connected through advanced communication technology. "Good morning, everyone," Maya said into the microphone. "Today we're going to work on a special project together." The children on the screens waved and said hello in their different languages. Maya had learned that language barriers disappeared quickly when children were involved. They found ways to communicate that adults often miss. "We're going to design a playground that will be fun for all of our different species," Maya continued. "Remember, Zilari children like to climb and swing, Thornax children like to build and create, and human children like to run and explore." Maya watched as the children immediately began working together, sharing ideas across species and planets. A human girl from Earth suggested monkey bars that could change shape. A Zilari boy from the Crystal Planet proposed climbing walls that made music when touched. A young Thornax from the Forest World wanted areas where children could build temporary structures together. "Look at how naturally they work together," Dr. Chun said, watching the screen in amazement. "Children don't see differences the way adults do," Maya explained. "They just see other kids who want to play and learn." Jake's communication device buzzed, and he answered it quickly. Maya could feel through their connection that something important was happening. "What is it?" Maya asked. "Long-range sensors are picking up a massive fleet approaching the solar system," Jake said. "It's bigger than anything we've ever seen." Maya felt her heart start to race, but Jake squeezed her hand reassuringly. "The interesting thing is," Jake continued, "they're broadcasting friendship signals. And they're requesting permission to enter our space instead of just coming in." General Hayes appeared on one of the communication screens. "Jake, Maya, we need you in the command center immediately." This fleet isn't here to fight. They're here to join. Maya and Jake hurried to the command center where they found controlled chaos. Dozens of people were working at computer stations, analyzing data, and preparing for what appeared to be the largest first contact event in human history. How? Many ships? Jake asked. Over 300, General Hayes replied, representing at least 15 species we've never encountered before. What do they want? Maya asked. Ambassador Johnson appeared on another screen. According to their messages, they've been watching what we've accomplished here. The cooperation between humans and other species. The way we've learned to work together while staying individuals. They want to be part of it. Maya looked at the displays showing the approaching fleet. Each ship was different, representing the unique technology and culture of its species. Maya, General Hayes said, we need you to help design a welcome program. These species are going to want to understand how humans think and learn. You've become our expert on interspecies education. Maya felt a rush of excitement and responsibility. What kind of program? Something that shows them what makes humanity special, Jake said. Our ability to adapt, to learn, to connect with others while staying ourselves. Maya thought about Sophie and the other children who were growing up in this new galaxy where species work together. She thought about the playground project the kids had just been working on and how naturally they had shared ideas across the stars. I have an idea, Maya said. What if we showed him our children? Everyone in the command center looked at her. Not. Te'o put the children in danger, Maya explained quickly. But to show these new species how humans raise the next generation, how we teach children to be creative, to work together, to solve problems in new ways. Sophie, who had been quietly listening, stepped forward. I could help. I could show them how human children learn about space and other species, how we're not afraid of differences. Jake smiled at his daughter, then looked at Maya with pride. 6 months ago, you were just filling in as a babysitter for one day. Maya laughed, remembering how simple her life had seemed back then. Now I'm designing education programs for alien species. Now you're helping build the future of the galaxy, Jake corrected. Maya looked around the command center at all the humans and aliens working together to prepare for this historic moment. She thought about the children on different planets who were learning to see the universe as a place of cooperation instead of conflict. Through the large windows, she could see the approaching fleet getting closer. In a few hours, humanity would welcome more species than had ever cooperated before in the known galaxy. Jake, Maya said, what do you think will happen next? Jake took her hand and smiled. With humans involved? Something that nobody expects. But that turns out to be exactly what the galaxy needs. Maya squeezed his hand back, feeling through their connection his confidence in humanity's future. She looked at Sophie, who was already back at her computer, probably designing welcome messages for alien children. For the first time since this adventure began, Maya realized that she wasn't just part of something bigger than herself. She was helping to build something that had never existed before in the galaxy, a community where every species could contribute their strengths while learning from others. As the first of the new ships came into view, Maya smiled. The future was going to be amazing.